Harper, like Richard Nixon, seems determined to record every moment of his time in power. Nixon said he bugged the White House to create a truthful record for historians. Harper's movements are diligently recorded for propaganda reasons. 50 years ago, prime ministers simply went about their business with just a handful of aides and political allies. Now Harper's retinue, which moves around the city in a presidential-style motorcade, includes both still and video photographers. Their work is distributed to friendly media and appears on the Internet program 24/7. In the fall of 2014, the federal government advertised for a new videographer for the propaganda machine. The job paid about $100,000 a year, but the videographer had to be willing to work every day and night of the year. The fetish for recording each moment can make things awkward. In 2013, when Prime Minister Harper took his teenage son Ben to the center block's very informal fifth-floor cafeteria for a burger, the Harpers were accompanied by at least 4 skittish, bulky men with wires in their ears and a photographer who snapped almost every second of that magic moment. Much eye-rolling ensued. It must have been strange for the high schooler, who is, by all accounts, a pretty down-to-earth kid. It certainly was for those of us who sat eating our lunches and watching. The situation became comical as the security people filled the tiny cafeteria and eyeballed the journalists, MPs, office workers, and political staffers who sat at the rows of tables. There was no reason why the two Harpers could not have quietly walked into the room without the photographer and sat down for lunch. But in true Stephen Harper style, father and son huddled in a secluded corner of the room, protected by prime ministerial staffers, armed heavies, and the photographer. Everything about the Prime Minister's world is lavish. Alison Redford was forced out of the Premier's office in Alberta partly because she spent $45,000 of public money to go, with some of her entourage, to Nelson Mandela's funeral. But Stephen Harper couldn't throw stones. He spent the same amount to go to New York in 2011, where he took in a baseball game and a Broadway show. He also spent $1 million of taxpayers' money to ship a limousine and an SUV to India for a summit in 2012, India somehow being short of luxury vehicles for visiting VIPs. And the cost of the Prime Minister's security detail had reached $19.6 million in 2014, about double the cost when Harper took power. If you think the motorcades and the metal detectors are the brainchild of the security staff, and that Harper has no say in how it works, think again. The Prime Minister is the boss, and if he really thought the head of his RCMP security team was pushing him around, that cop would, within a few weeks, be showing store clerks in Iqaluit how to spot fake toonies. He likes this. He likes this far too much. Harper and his courtiers spend a lot of time worrying about enemies in the media, universities, bureaucracy, courts, First Nations, and even in churches and soup kitchens. And of course there are the enemies sitting on the other side of the House of Commons. Gone were the days of grudging professional respect and sometimes real friendship among members of Parliament. The House of Commons stumbles toward irrelevance during the Harper regime, and the ever more toxic atmosphere and vicious partisanship has worked its way down into the House committees, where most of Parliament's real work gets done. Whatever people say about former Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff, by the time his political career crashed, he understood the danger of separating the people's representatives into us and them, and then trashing the thems as unpatriotic, evil, stupid, and corrupt. The opposition performs an adversarial function critical to democracy itself, Ignatieff said in a speech at Stanford University in October 2012. Governments have no right to question the loyalty of those who oppose them. Adversaries remain citizens of the same state, common subjects of the same sovereign, servants of the same law. In Harper's world, politics is a game. The informal Calgary School of Economists and Political Scientists, headquartered at the University of Calgary, echoing the Chicago School of Right-Wing Academics at the University of Chicago, has a worldview built on the market economy economics of Friedrich Hayek and the political modeling concepts of William H. Riker, a games theorist.